Have you ever just looked around at the world and thought, how? How can both good things and, well, not so good things exist right next to each other, sometimes in the very same situation or even the same person? It's a common feeling, I think. How do we start to make sense of that? And maybe more importantly, how do we live well within that kind of reality? Today, we're doing a deep dive into some really profound insights, ideas about divine patience, our own human responsibility, and this surprising wisdom in just letting things grow together until the time is right. The wisdom we're pulling out today, it offers a timeless way to navigate what our sources call a world of mixed seeds.
Yeah, and our sources for this deep dive are honestly fascinating. We've got these powerful bits from Exodus, some really comforting words from the Psalms, practical stuff from James, and that famous parable from Matthew. And it's all tied together with a beautiful modern reflection called Sowing Goodness. So our mission for you listening in is to grab some powerful nuggets here about trust, about judgment, and about making that active, conscious choice to, cultivate goodness.
Even when things feel messy, not perfectly aligned. So let's get into it. Let's unpack this. We can start with the story Jesus told. It's a really strong image for understanding this whole mixed seed thing. He said, the kingdom of heaven may be likened to a man who sowed good seed in his field. Okay, simple enough. But while everyone was asleep, his enemy came and sowed weeds all through the wheat and then just went off.
Right. And what's truly striking, I think, is when the weeds appear. They don't pop up immediately. It's only when the wheat actually sprouts and starts to, develop fruit. That's when you see them. The moment the good crop grows, boom, the weeds are right there beside it. And the slaves, their reaction is so human, isn't it? It's immediate. Master, didn't you sow good seed? Where did these weeds come from? Should we go pull them up now? Fix the problem.
Exactly. And the master's reply is just so unexpected. It goes against that impulse, right? He says, no, flat out, no. If you pull up the weeds, you might uproot the weed along with them.
Precisely. And that right there sets up the central theme. This surprising, often unsettling.
Coexist.
Good. And what looks of evil side by side. One of our reflections puts it plainly. Good and evil exist side by side. Mm-hmm. And we connect this to the bigger picture. I mean, it's clearly not just about farming.
No, it's about life.
It's about life. Yeah. And the master's instruction is the key part. Let them grow together until harvest. He says that at harvest time, I will say to the harvesters, first, collect the weeds and tie them in bundles for burning, but gather the wheat into my barn. It powerfully highlights that the final judgment, that ultimate sorting, well, that belongs to God, not us.
It really does push back against that urge, doesn't it? That feeling we all get sometimes, that need to immediately label everything, sort out the good from the bad in the world, or even like inside ourselves. This parable suggests a totally different approach, a path of patience. But this idea of trusting a bigger plan, it raises a question for me. What kind of relationship, what foundation allows for that kind of patience, that kind of waiting?
That's a really crucial question. And it sends us back, actually, to the roots of commitment, promise, covenant. You see, the patience in the parable, it isn't just passive waiting, it's active. And it's rooted in a deep agreement, a covenant. We have this incredibly powerful scene back in Exodus. Moses establishing a covenant between God and the people.
Oh, right. And it's quite dramatic, as I recall. Not just a simple agreement. Moses lays out all of God's words, the rules, and the people. They respond together, right? We will do everything that the Lord has told us. Like a unified voice.
Exactly, a unified voice. And the ritual itself, it really underscores the seriousness of their promise. Moses writes everything down. He builds an altar, 12 pillars for the 12 tribes, very symbolic. And then comes the really vivid part, the offerings and the blood of the covenant. Young men offer sacrifices. Moses takes half the blood, splashes it on the altar, the other half goes in bowls. Then he reads the book of the covenant out loud again. The people say again, all that the Lord has said, we will heed and do. Total commitment.
Wow.
And then Moses takes the blood from the bowls, sprinkles it on the people, and declares, this is the blood of the covenant that the Lord has made with you.
That is intense, a really tangible act of commitment, binding them to their words with, well, blood. And it connects so well to Psalm 50, doesn't it? The part that says, offer to God a sacrifice of praise. And it mentions God gathering his faithful ones who have made a covenant with me by sacrifice.
Yes, it does.
It shows this relationship isn't just one way, it's deep, mutual promise. And that idea, that praise itself can be a sacrifice. That's something to chew on. It's not just about ancient history, it's about the depth of commitment. desired in that divine relationship.
It really is. It totally sets the stage for understanding the kind of God we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Because if we're called to that level of commitment, what's the character of the one we're committing to? And that brings us right back around to patience, that crucial divine quality.
Okay, so bringing it today. When we're facing those weeds in our world, maybe in our own lives, those tough situations, difficult people, what does this divine character mean for us? Our sources keep pointing to this one thing, patience.
Right. That psalm we touched on, Psalm 103, verse 8, it just lays it out. The Lord is compassionate and gracious, slow to anger, abounding in love. That slow to anger part, that's fundamentally patience, isn't it?
It is. And here's the bit that really shifted my perspective when reading this.
Yeah.
One of the reflections says it so directly. God's patience is not weakness. It is mercy, allowing time for transformation. That feels like the key. It explains why the master in the story tells the slaves to wait. It's not that he doesn't care.
Exactly. It's not apathy. It's active mercy. It's purposeful. Absolutely. And it makes us ask, doesn't it? How often do we mistake patience for weakness or, for inaction?
Yeah.
Maybe in ourselves or when we see it in others or even when we think about God.
Okay.
Because in this view, patience is actually this profound act of mercy. It creates the space, the time needed for growth, for change, for transformation. In others, sure, but also in ourselves. It suggests this active, intentional choice to wait, to trust the process.
That insight really lands. It encourages us to, as the reflection says, trust his timing. In our own lives, yes, but also in the bigger picture. Instead of feeling like we have to rush in, judge immediately, intervene right now, it's about letting go of that need for instant neatness, instant resolution. Okay, so if the final judgment belongs to God and God operates with this incredible patience, this mercy, then what's our job? What are we supposed to be doing in this mixed seed world? What's our role here?
Well, the reflection gives a pretty clear answer. It says, we are called to grow in holiness without being discouraged by the presence of sin around us. That's key. Don't get discouraged. And crucially, continue sowing goodness in our daily lives. It's about where we put our focus, our energy.
Right. Not getting bogged down by the weeds, but focusing on the wheat we can plant. It also says we should resist judging others and to trust in your divine plan. And that connects so well with the verse from James, doesn't it, about welcoming the word planted in you.
James 1.21.
Humbly welcome the word that has been planted in you and is able to save your souls. It starts inward.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It's about nurturing the good seed within ourselves first. The core idea, as one of the prayers in our sources suggests, is to be a light of goodness in a world of mixed seeds. It boils down to an active, intentional choice. To sow goodness through what we do, how we act, how we treat people, rather than, spending all our energy trying to identify and rip out every single weed we see. It shifts the focus from external control, trying to fix everything out there, to internal cultivation, growing the good within.
That feels like a real practical takeaway, a call to action almost. It distills all this deep theology and these ancient stories into a question for you listening right now. What's one small, intentional act of goodness you can sow today? Right in the middle of whatever messy, contradictory, mixed seed reality you find yourself in, just one small thing. So let's recap quickly. We've journeyed through the wisdom of the parable of the weeds, this reminder that good and, other stuff, they often coexist. And that final sorting, it belongs to a divine plan, not us. We touched on the weight of covenant, of sacrifice, understanding that divine patience is not weakness, it is mercy. It creates space.
Crucial space.
And maybe most importantly, we've unpacked our active call, our job to sow goodness in our daily lives, trusting a larger timing, a bigger plan. This deep dive hopefully gives you a powerful framework, a way to navigate life's bumps and weeds, urging us maybe to focus more on our own growth, our own positive contribution, rather than getting stuck in that often exhausting cycle of judgment. So here's a final thought to maybe mull over. Considering that master's instruction in the parable, let them grow together until harvest, what personal transformation might happen within you? What could change in you when you consciously, intentionally choose patience over that immediate judgment? Both when you look at the world and maybe even when you look at your own life's mixed seeds. What new possibilities might open up when you stop trying to perfectly sort everything out right this second?